So Justin, is this big news? I'm supposed to be saying the Build-A-Bear thing, or? Okay, cool. I just wanted to make sure. I was like, wait, hold on.
That's fine.
I missed it.
Yep. Yep. There we are.
There we go.
It's great to see you too, both of you. Great to see you. Hello, everybody. Oh, look, there's Justin. There's Hannah. Wait, what's going on here? What? Okay, here we are.
Oh,
here we are,
okay,
everybody.
there we
And
are.
Justin has now thrown us live. It is now time to
Hi.
introduce the show. Hello. I just wanted to say how great it is to see everybody. Justin, are you there? No? Nothing from Mission
Everybody's
Control. Okay, so here's what's happening.
No.
It is time to say hello to the entire audience worldwide. Torn Tuesday.
Hello.
Here we go. It
Hello.
is theonering.net. Yes, it is the One Ring, hosting our usual weekly broadcast here from Scum and Villainy Cantina. And perhaps I'll take a moment to show the world. This is where I am, and we're getting ready for the show to begin. Here, we're doing another staged reopening day. We get our calendar expanding, going from only 5 nights a week up to 7 nights a week here at Scum and Villainy Cantina.
How exciting, huh?
Yes, it is. There's the chef coming in. We're introducing a new Caesar salad on the menu tonight. It's very exciting, actually.
Oh, really? Lovely.
Nice.
What, isn't that ridiculously funny? I don't know what this sounds like to the outside audience, but for those people who are just joining us, this is usually broadcast from either my living room during the year of COVID, or we had always broadcast, as you know, from here, from our host, our hosted wonderful location, the galactic themed bar and restaurant in the heart of Hollywood called Scum and Villainy Cantina, where we have recently had Billy Boyd and Dominic Monaghan join us for a wonderful chat.
I
And here
know,
I am.
it was so fun.
It was so fun. And now, ladies and gentlemen, tonight, as your host, Clifford Broadway, right here, I'm joined by Hannah and Tristan together, this
Hi.
wonderful couple who are joining me. And in the background, somewhere in the back, we may hear or eventually see something from Justin, in the background. But I don't know where he's at right now. He's the producer pulling the strings behind the strings.
The puppet
And extra
master.
things besides the strings behind the strings. He's pulling all the digital buttons to make the show happen live. We are broadcasting on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, Periscope, and Twitch. So welcome to the One Ring, theonering.net. Actually, we're going to be bringing you news, gossip, information, and useless chit chat, but very amusing, although useless, like the good Hobbity type of stories and songs. Some of them are quite useless and silly, but greatly entertaining. Here,
Depends on your definition of useless.
you never know. But as it turns out, I'm really glad to be here hosting, and I'm so glad to have our previous co-host, Hannah, returning to the live stream. It's a beautiful Tuesday.
It's been quite some time.
It's been some time, and here you are together. Is there some big news? Is there some big news from Hannah? Did you see what our headline was on Twitter? And it says, big news. What's the news?
Yes,
are you going to surprise me with some big news?
I am going to surprise you. I just found out.
Is that not the thing that we do? This is the thing that we do. Is surprise me with stuff I should have known, but I'm stuck live on the air and nobody told me ahead of time. So here we go. Tell me.
I'll keep you waiting in anticipation. No, I'm just kidding. I love you too much. No, I found out a few, like half hour ago that Build-A-Bear is actually collaborating with Lord of the Rings to make Build-A-Bear Lord of the Ring collection, like how they did with The Mandalorian and Harry Potter. So,
no way.
Yeah,
no
it's
way.
on the official website. Yeah.
They licensed, the Build-A-Bear Corporation has got Lord of the Rings and Middle-earth licensing now for Middle-earth bears.
I'm going to put like $10 on the table right now and say that they're going to make a Gollum Build-A-Bear. They're going to.
No, wait, no, it would probably be a Smeagol. Would it be because it would be the cute, cuddly version of him as a bear? Either way,
Gollum and Smeagol, it's going to be turned into a Build-A-Bear. I can just see it. I can just see it. That is going to be one of the ones.
You've got to be kidding me. You've got to be kidding me. How did I not see this coming? Ladies and gentlemen, they are doing licensed teddy bears.
Yeah.
Okay, is there going to be I'm visualizing the Boromir bear who's got these huge Uruk arrows sticking out of the bear.
Oh, and they're like magnetic. Yeah,
they're magnetic. You can pop them on. Yeah, they're like the bloody arrow pieces. Step right onto the poor bear. Okay, work with me now. We need a Frodo bear to have a detachable finger. The whole finger has to come off. Okay, right? We need. Wait, it's this one. This ring finger.
Yeah.
What? Okay, this is okay. Then, who else? We need obviously two versions of the gray bear and the white bear for Gandalf. Okay,
that would be fun.
We also need. I should have seen this coming. I
could see them doing either like an Arwen bear or like a Galadriel bear to balance it out.
Oh my gosh.
I could see it.
So what do we know about this? Was there a press release or something on the Build-A-Bear website?
No, so there is something on the Build-A-Bear website, and I actually saw it through a Twitter thread while I was looking through like Tolkien Twitter, and somebody like posted about it like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna buy the whole collection. And I was like, this is a joke. This is a joke. So I went onto the Build-A-Bear website and then I hit the collections and the coming soon, and it was there.
Yeah.
Okay. Someone in the chat said, I want a Gimli red bear.
Yeah.
Yes.
A Gimli red bear. Okay.
This man's over here like, give me my Gimli bear, please.
If there's going to be, are they going to have like extra tufts of bear fur on their feet?
Oh,
for the Hobbit bears,
cute.
Like extra, like
so cute,
like big puffs of puffy fabric that can be fluffed
Build-A-Bear,
out.
if you're listening, make it happen. Do it.
I don't know. I'm not your audience at all, but I might be your idea guy for this, guys.
Yeah.
Hey, Build-A-Bear. My Venmo is Quick Beam, believe it or not. Okay. So my Venmo is Quick Beam. Build-A-Bear, if you want some of these good ideas, I'll keep giving them to you.
Yeah,
you
plus
know,
you could call the
a reasonable
hotline. It
fee.
goes to his phone. So
Yeah.
call the hotline. It goes to his phone. Get your idea, man, right here.
Call the
Build
hotline. No, wait, seriously. In other news, you know what? You know, this is quite funny. What's most interesting on my side of things is that for the very first time, I'm actually introducing The Lord of the Rings to some new readers who have never read it. And
really?
I'm introducing The Lord of the Rings motion pictures to some friends of mine who have never seen them. So this has been my little crusade. To be honest,
Yeah,
with all that,
I had my crusade with this one last year.
you've had that. You all understand what this is like. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, as this is a show for the fans, by the fans here at theonering.net, you know, we're here celebrating. That's very cute. That's super cute. Here at the One Ring, conversations among fans have always been the most satisfying because we understand each other. We really understand how attractive reading the stories are, especially for first-time experience for those people who've never read it. And equally, you know, with all the gripes that we've had over the years at various levels about changes that Peter Jackson may have made from the book to his 6 films, we still, by and large, as a fandom, have been in a celebratory mood over most of these Lord of the Rings films, especially, and the Hobbit films too. Now it comes down to my personal life partner. My life partner that I've been with for 3.5 years is finally reading The Lord of the Rings for the first time. Yes. And I'm like, what? Really? This is so exciting. So what I did was I got out some of my old editions, and I'm going to take the audience with me while we're here at the cantina. You see the twin suns.
Virtual tour there.
Yeah, you see this very, very familiar Tatooine Twin Suns logo. I'm going to go over here to the booth. This is actually the booth where Han Solo shot first, actually, right here. See? In case you guys don't know where you are, this is where you are. And in my backpack, I have brought with me a couple of these original paperback editions that I've never ever cracked open. I just, I keep rereading my red leather edition over and over. But when it comes to, I wanted to give Jorge a really, really decent copy of the book to read. And so I pulled out these. Does anybody remember these editions? Let's see, I'll show you. You guys remember these editions?
Those are gorgeous.
These are the old revised editions that came out in a boxed set, and it has this logo design.
Yeah, it's got his signature on top too.
Yeah, that is Professor Tolkien's signature right across the top, and that's his own Sauron ring design. So I got, I'm just so excited that somebody is going to crack these open. And the reason why I'm only holding the Two Towers and the Return of the King is obviously because Fellowship is on loan to him.
Yeah.
Okay. This is really, really beautiful. These are really cool.
I know,
and
those are gorgeous.
These are from Houghton Mifflin, 1978. These were published 1 year after Tolkien died. And it's from the fifth, I think this is from the, I have a 50th anniversary edition or a 75th anniversary edition. No, I don't know where my brain is. It's a 50th anniversary edition. But anyways, the other thing that is really cool is that I found out that Spotify probably has an unauthorized edition, and I'm going to investigate and find out. But I think Spotify has audiobooks of The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings, and they are available right there on your Spotify channel. Sometimes they show up at random to people by the algorithm, but the Hobbit is there with the music from the New Line Cinema movies, Howard Shore's recognizable pieces. There's different voice actors doing some different characters. And I don't know if this is like an authorized edition that I didn't know about, but I've been looking into it, and it's not.
I know what I'm going to be listening to.
They have The Lord of the Rings and they have The Hobbit on Spotify. I just don't know, and I'm going to ask the chat. since we're obviously engaged with our fans
Yeah.
live on Facebook, if you have another window open, maybe Tristan or Hannah, if you have Facebook open, I'm
Yeah.
talking to
We
the
do.
I'm talking to the YouTube audience right now on my phone
Let's
while we
see.
broadcast. So if there's anybody there in the live chat, let me know if you have found that interesting audiobook edition of The Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings. And let me know which one that came from. Is that like an original Houghton Mifflin CD audiobook that they previously produced? And if so, why is it using Howard Shore's music? Because
Well, it seems like
I'm not sure I recognize it.
Oh no, you're good. It seems like Samantha in the chat knows the Lord of the Rings one that you're talking about, I think, or
It
I
looks
might
like-
be misunderstanding there.
Yeah, well, I'm going to look it up myself. I'm going to do some research and find out exactly who produced it and what it is, because
Yeah.
you know, the one that caught my attention the most was obviously Andy Serkis doing that wonderful edition that he did of The Hobbit as an audiobook.
You can't short sell yourself and not mention your own because
So what
It's
is it?
good.
What is it like, Tristan? So you went on that journey because Hannah tried to get you to read the books for the first time too, right? So
Yeah.
what was that like? What did you get to, you know? I mean, you've never been on a live stream show talking to a worldwide audience of fans about your first time experience reading the book. But if you'd like to, now's your chance. Because after you're done with that, I've got breaking news that the control room has just given me from the production tower at the heart of London, from the production tower. We're getting breaking news. But first of all, I want to ask Tristan, what is it like to actually cross that threshold for the first time? And when someone says, this is a book I strongly recommend, and this is, in fact, it's a book that someone says has changed my life. This is such a transformative book for me, right?
Yeah.
Is that not what Hannah said to you at some point in time?
I've said many things like that.
That was
too.
pretty much exactly what I was told.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what is it like? What's it like being a first-time reader of The Lord of the Rings and coming out on the other side of that? I'd really like to know.
Well, I went in knowing that I was going to like it at least to some degree, no matter what, because it's so important to Hannah, of course. But after reading it and experiencing it myself, I ended up getting into it honestly more than I expected to.
Right? Did you find that it was a piece of literature that was really like impactful for you? And if so, how?
I did find that, yeah, the sort of adventure friendship story isn't something that's super common these days, and it's really good to see that, especially as someone who relies a lot on their friends sometimes.
Yeah. The ultimate Frodo Sam. Where would Frodo be without his Sam? The ultimate, right? Oh my God, heartbreak. The ultimate story of friendship, loyalty, and love and trust against an overwhelming thing that is beyond you, but you don't care. You still love each other, you trust each other, and you're going to support each other through thick and thin, even if the rest of what you're against is overwhelming. That element of Frodo and Sam's story is extraordinary. It is extraordinary for all people. All of us get it. We all get it. And I appreciate that.
It
Thank you for
applies
saying
to
that.
everybody in some way.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You know, the sacrifice that you make for others is its own reward. And I think that Professor Tolkien had his own way of teaching us that, really. Indeed, in many ways. Now, here's to breaking news, okay? Here's to the breaking news, okay? We're getting word from the control tower. One of the directors of photography who are at work down in New Zealand on the new Amazon Studios Second Age of Middle-earth series is announcing their name right now on our broadcast. Cinematographer Alex Deisenhoff, who won acclaim worldwide for his cinematography on The Watchmen and The Exorcist TV series.
Okay.
All right.
Very
I see
experienced
you.
cinematographer who everyone loved working on The Watchmen TV series, which was, you know, with Regina King and this extraordinary cast, and Jeremy Irons on HBO. Remember that? And oh, wow, that was super awesome. And also the Exorcist TV series. Well, there you go. Here on the OneRing.net, we have an out director of photography who's working, and there's more than one. Perhaps it's fair to say that in the film world, it was always Andrew Lesney working with Peter. But in this case, there will be multiple cinematographers working in and out in rotation for different episodes through any given season. This is how they have to structure the availability of people to get things done across, a compact time frame of production. Everybody knows this. So just to iterate it even more for our audience, how about that? So let's go look up Alex Deisenhoff. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go to IMDb and start looking things up. So breaking news here on the OneRing.net. I'm excited that it's actually coming together. I'm not as pessimistic as I was because, the synopsis sound, that breaking news we had of that first reveal of the story synopsis of the season.
Yeah.
And it was, it was more like it was something that made me realize they're trying to pay attention to Sauron in a way that Professor Tolkien was paying attention to him as an individual on the chessboard, very actively moving about with other chess pieces on the board. I'm reminded of Gandalf's analogy where he says the board is set and the pieces are moving. But in the Third Age, in the Lord of the Rings, Sauron was in his tower and letting everybody else do all the work for him. He had everyone else doing the dirty work for him, especially
Didn't want to
Saruman.
get his hands dirty.
Right. Well, he was disembodied. He was not corporeal form.
Yeah.
He was disembodied at that point, and he was stuck in Barad-dûr. So he had Saruman and everybody else running around doing the dirty work for him, and the Nazgul. But now that story synopsis that Amazon Studios gave us it's really fully telling us that we should expect not just a gaseous cloud with a floating eyeball wreathed in flame, but we're going to actually have a bipedal human or humanoid person walking around, characterizing and being an absolute piece on the chessboard with Galadriel and Celebrimbor and other people in this narrative. That's what they told us. So Amazon, at least, has given us the benefit of understanding that these people are going to be working together against a growing shadow, the greatest enemy that Tolkien had described. And that's a misnomer. A lot of people like to say that Morgoth was the greatest enemy that Tolkien never described. But what do you think? What do you think about the fact that we're walking into this now? They've got so many episodes already filmed. They have so many episodes written. They're in the can. What's your anxiety level about this? Because I'm feeling a little more comfortable with what's going on. I really am. What do you think?
I'm trusting that they know what they're doing because they've spent so much money, and plus they know that they have such a I'm trying to think of a word to describe all of us. Very passionate fandom behind the Lord of the Rings series that they know that would be like watching their every move.
Yeah, we're very attached.
Here too. Yeah, we're very attached.
We're very attached to these stories. Yeah, of course.
They're hiring like these amazing actresses, actors, people in the cast and crew. So I don't think that they're playing around. I'm excited and I'm gnawing at the bit to know more information regarding like the process of it and like when it's coming out and more details. But I'm pretty excited. I'm certain that it's going to be quality due to the amount that they're spending and who they're hiring and the research that they're doing.
Well, we'll see. We will see ultimately.
Fingers crossed. I mean, but
it's going to be all right because the Cruella conversation came up this weekend. Obviously, I really enjoyed the film. I thought it was surprisingly sophisticated and interesting for a live-action Disney, old animation remade to live action. It offered more on the table in terms of discussing revenge, pursuing it to its fullest extent, and what that does to you, what that does to you as a person. when you are succeeding and very successful at revenge. It's the first time that a family movie, quote unquote Disney family movie, has ever bothered to teach that lesson, that revenge pays off and pays off fabulously. But there's a price. There's a price to pay. And it's like you give up your soul, or you give up a piece of your soul to do that, to exact revenge on others. And so that's interesting to me. That it's way more interesting than Aladdin or the live action Mulan or the recent spate of
ouch.
Yeah, ouch. Yeah,
ouch.
That's just me.
That was my first movie that I worked on, Cliff. Ouch.
I love you, and I love your work on the film. But I'm sorry. Forgive me. Forgive me.
Nice.
Hold on,
I'm just kidding.
Nice
I love
now.
you. I love you.
I love you
Yeah,
too.
no.
But I'm gonna no.
I'm biased. So don't listen to me. I'm biased.
Well, okay, you are completely. But there's what I'm looking for is that kind of conversation about how a villain, in that sense, like Joaquin Phoenix as the Joker, and now Emma Stone as Cruella, are we looking at our villains through a quote unquote sympathetic lens, which is the conversation in the air right now, or how we're looking at people that are no longer just an abstract of black and white villainy, and they have a background story and their own interests and their own agenda, and we're building a narrative show, an entire narrative around, Sauron himself, and he's going to be personalized in a body, in a human actor, in a way that we've never, ever seen him before. So what are we doing? What are we doing here? Making all the villains relatable? What is it? What do you think it is, Hannah? Because it's not as simple as that. What do you think it is?
Well, I definitely agree with what you're saying in the sense of like we're looking at our villains in a new lens. Because I mean, you look at Loki, the series that's coming out, and people there's fangirls just for Loki, even though like he was a side character in Thor. I mean, Justin has a good point. Like the Joker made over $1 million. Like these movies are really $1 billion. These movies are really successful, and you look at
Loki is probably the most successful thing that they'll ever get out of Thor is Loki himself, don't you think?
And like you look at I like horror. You see people getting tattoos of not the main girl or whatever, but like of Freddy Krueger and Jason Voorhees. I definitely do think that they are going to paint Sauron in a more sympathetic light, and kind of like my theory, and this is just my personal theory. I do think that they are going to take kind of a biblical stance on it in the story of like how Lucifer fell, and kind of portray it like that, because Tolkien already does that in the books. So I feel like they're going to build off of that. Like if you read Paradise Lost, I think it's going to go kind of like that.
Yeah, I get that. Well, the song that was played at the very end of Cruella was the Rolling Stones' "Sympathy for the Devil." Right?
I haven't seen the movie. I don't know.
Did you ever see the vampire Lestat in the movie? Who played by Tom Cruise in the Interview with the Vampire?
Yeah, one of my favorite characters.
That song is the exact song, "Sympathy for the Devil," played at the very end, in the exact same performative way at the end of Cruella as it is played at the end of Interview with the Vampire, while Tom Cruise Lestat is driving off in the distance with Christian Slater in the vehicle with him. Right? Remember the end of the film?
Yeah.
And what's that song you hear? "Sympathy for the Devil." It's interesting because that's what the director chose to put at the end of Cruella as well.
A little bit of a nod.
It is a very obvious nod, because everyone might be talking about it through a recent lens of pop culture, like Joker made $1 billion and blah blah blah, but it's been going on for a long time, even going back to Interview with the Vampire. these are stories where, you know, the person who's normally the villain, Dracula, a villain, is now suddenly Lestat, and he's a deeply romantic and romanticized tragic figure. Okay, this is not new, people.
Yeah.
And now we're talking about what's the biggest star to rise out of the Marvel universe of Thor. Well, it wasn't any of the other characters. It wasn't Odin. It wasn't, you know, it wasn't Thor himself. It wasn't, yeah, you know who it was? The big breakout character it wasn't Valkyrie. And it should have been, but it was Loki. Okay, so that was the rising star. And so there's your Lestat, there's your Joker, and now it's going to be your Sauron, and now here's your Cruella on the scene. It's like these are conversations where even the bad guy, Captain Barbossa, by the time you get to the end of the 5th Pirates film, he's the absolute hero, and he's the actual concrete foundation of the story. It's not even about Captain Sparrow at that point. It's about Barbossa. And, you know, he's completely the devil we sympathize with, and he's no longer the villain that he was in Curse of the Black Pearl. So, you know, these things are, you know what I'm talking about. You can look at these things and trace them around in pop culture. I'm sure there's many other examples. I'm sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So well, I'm just curious. I'm curious what's going to happen with, you know, Sauron being a bipedal humanoid, you know, in like fully anthropomorphized humanoid, walking around, batting his long eyelashes to get what he wants. You know.
Yeah, it should be interesting seeing how he goes from like bipedal humanoid to like flaming Visine eye. You know, it should be that should be quite interesting. My money's on Galadriel knock them out of his corporeal form, and he just kind of was like, all right, that's it, I'm gonna be an eye.
No, it actually happened when Numenor was destroyed. That's when his body was physically destroyed, when Numenor was sunk under the waves. Yeah, and he could no longer take a physical form ever again after that. Yes. Well, you know, even Professor Tolkien revisited the idea of taking a flat Earth and making it round, you know, changing the cosmology of the planet of Arda. But someone in the live chat over here, hey, Rory, they're in YouTube asking, which of the cast do you want to play an Anatar, who is, you know, Sauron, an Anatar that has levels and depth? Well, he better have levels. I mean, I expect this Sauron to be a lot like Peter Baelish, you know, running around a lot like Littlefinger. Maybe there's a little analogy. There's a little bit of, there'll be Loki mixed in with Littlefinger, mixed in with Sauron, you know.
Definitely the trickster archetype.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking at Ishmael Cruz Cordova. I'm really wondering if this entire time they're going to do a big surprise announcement and have some other, you know, Oscar-winning A-list actor who will come in and be Sauron. Maybe they've kept that secret from us the whole time, or maybe it's actually out of the people they've already announced. That'd be really, really cool and interesting to see, because of his eyes, the intensity of Senor Cordova's eyes. They're so mesmerizing. His eyes are hypnotizing. It is so easy to be hypnotized by the way that man looks at the camera. Don't you think? Ooh. So I don't know. But maybe. On one hand, it might be someone else they haven't announced. But in answering to the person in the chat, I think he'd be able to have lots of depth and love layers and layers and layers, because that Sauron character is going to be like an onion, donkey. We're like onions.
Okay, Shrek. All right.
Okay.
He's got layers.
Yeah, Sauron is going to be like an onion. Lots of layers, donkey.
That's going to definitely be our goat.
But Rory thinks that he might be a bit rough and too old for what you think Anatar might supposed to be. Well, maybe he'll be smooth as porcelain. and as smooth as glass. Maybe you're right. That's just as likely as anything else, because this particular Anatar is going to be able to fool a lot of people in this story.
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah.
What do you think?
For y'all
Okay.
who've read the Silmarillion, yeah.
Okay, yeah. No, that brings up another point that I want to mention.
Mhm.
What about those copies of the Silmarillion that all the cast and the actors are reading? Obviously, they've got their photos of themselves reading it
Mhm.
and nothing else. You never see them with a copy of this. They're always with copies of the Silmarillion. So what do you think? Does that show us a sign? Maybe.
I think
Amazon
it does
Studios
show a
licensed the
sign.
book?
Just a bit of inspiration, because I don't know whether or not it does include the rights to the Silmarillion. It doesn't seem like it, but I
Mhm.
definitely think it's like, hey, yeah, just read this just to kind of give you an idea of, like, you know.
Really? Now that might be true. Maybe they didn't
Yeah.
license anything from the Silmarillion, but they want us to
Yeah.
think that. And so maybe that's like a driven online campaign to make us think something.
Publicity stunt or something.
You don't want to sell these death sticks. You
Yeah,
want to go home
these
and
are not the
rethink your
droids
life.
you were looking for.
Yeah, you want to go home and rethink your life.
Yeah.
Right? Like that. Okay. These these are not the J.R.R. Tolkien secrets that you're looking for.
This is not the book you were looking for.
This is-
No.
Yeah. Okay. It's literally and I think it's true. I think there's going to be some surprises.
Mhm.
They might even break down the Silmarillion into a partial contract deal with the Tolkien estate, where they only license some of the material from it that they want, that is relevant to their story of the second age. That might be most likely. I have more than once I've ventured a guess that that's what they've done. You know.
Yeah,
So
I
what
could
do you think?
definitely see that.
That would make sense.
Would you like to? Would that make you feel better as a fan, knowing that
I
they're
think-
digging?
Yeah, I think it
For those
would.
book
I think it
rights?
just depends on, like, what they bring up and if it, like, kind of correlates to how the story's going already. But yeah, I think that would put a lot of fans at ease. It's just the matter of how it's handled, honestly.
Well, we have only speculation.
Yeah.
Our friends in the chat have offered that the rights to the Silmarillion are not there on the table, but I have heard from my inside sources that everything that is possible is on the table that had not been possible before, and that could mean going against the wishes of Christopher Tolkien, who had always protected the Silmarillion and not allowed any of that material to ever go out to anybody. So, what do you think? I'm on the edge. I'm on the edge of believing that Bezos has enough money to persuade anybody.
Oh yeah. He definitely has enough money.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he has enough money for anything, really.
Yep. I think that he paid enough money to actually get the Akalabeth from the back section, and perhaps also the section that is the very closing piece of the Silmarillion. It's called Of the Rings of Power and the Third Age. And that will reference a lot of Celebrimbor and the War of Elves and Sauron. That'll be addressed a lot in that.
Yeah.
And, well, look, if you see behind me, they're adjusting the lights. We're all getting ready to begin a full evening of working here and getting the customers to come in here at the cantina. Now, let's say the more recent news of the MGM merger, with Amazon Studios buying all the rights to MGM, including all of their old film library. You know the huge impact that's going to have on things going forward.
Oh yeah.
Right? It gives them the rights to more J.R.R. Tolkien stuff that had existed prior under the previous Saul Zaentz licensing deal. And that was the licensing that gave us the animated Hobbit from 1977.
Yeah,
And
Rankin Bass.
those would be the Rankin Bass animations,
Yeah.
both of them. Yeah, both of them. And the one that United Artists had worked out that deal with Saul Zaentz, and they hired Ralph Bakshi to do his famous, epic, and psychedelic 1978 version of the film.
Yeah, which he still needs to see. That reminds me. So thanks, Cliff.
Oh, Tristan, you're
Yeah.
gonna love it, and you're also going to say why. Hold on a second. Hold on. There's a siren going by. Hold on.
They're crashing the party.
Yeah. You're gonna have a fun time with the Ralph Bakshi one.
Okay.
I can tell you that.
You're gonna have a fun time with the Ralph Bakshi film.
Yeah.
You are. You're gonna appreciate everything that it does right, and you're also going to ask several times, why? Why is that? Why is that so?
You're gonna love Sam. Sam's gonna be your new favorite character.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and the Ralph Bakshi version. Well, obviously Sean Astin is.
Okay.
But you know.
Yeah.
That's funny. Okay, seriously though. Okay, everybody.
Cliff's serious. He turned his hat backwards.
Oh, that's real serious.
Yeah.
No, this is when I'm getting serious, is when I put my hat backwards.
I know.
That's when I'm being really, really, really serious.
I know. During our meetings, you did that. No.
There is there's a lot to love in the Ralph Bakshi version, but more specifically, there were previous lawsuits that had prevented MGM rights to The Hobbit from being transferred to New Line, so that Guillermo del Toro was unfortunately not able to maintain his position as director and make the Hobbit films that he originally wanted to make.
Yeah.
Now, because Amazon Studios has completely acquired all of MGM, they've cut that problem completely at the throat. There is no, hold on just one second, my friends.
Well, I guess we're left to entertain you.
All right, Kay, you think I'm gonna love Pippin?
Yes. For those of you who are new, I was the old co-host, and then I went to work for Weta, and this is my fiance who is now getting into Lord of the Rings. So that's great.
Yes. So the real question is, now that MGM has been bought and the previous rights to the Hobbit book have all been cleared up, and there's not going to be any more confusing litigation between one production company saying, I want to make this. No, you can't do it because I have distribution rights. Womp, womp, fight, fight, fight. That doesn't exist anymore. The real question is, now they have the rights to characters and indicia, in the legal term, indicia. They have rights to hobbits and hobbit names, hobbit characters that Amazon didn't have before. Should we therefore assume they're going to start putting hobbits into the second age of Middle Earth where they don't belong in the story, because in Professor Tolkien's timeline, they don't appear from migrating over the mountains until the third age? What do you think? Hobbits, yes or no, now that they've bought the rights?
Now, that's hard to say, because on one hand, the fan in me wants to say, no, they would never do that. They know that the fans would be upsetty as spaghetti about that. On the other hand, I'm like, yeah, okay, but like that Hobbit kind of generates money. Mm-hmm. So, you know, they might, if they want more money out of it, they might, but you know, I think that's kind of hard to tell.
If they want to attract the mass market general
if they want to
audience,
attract more people into it, they probably will. But you know, I mean, hey, if they made a series about hobbits going on adventures, not necessarily our main boys that we know, I'd be down for it. You can hire me.
Yeah, I wonder, and this is one of my main concerns, okay? There's a huge, and very aggressively involved fandom, and the fandom knows the distinction that there are no hobbits in the second age. But then there's the general audience, which just wants to watch a new Game of Thrones style TV series, and they're like, oh, this is cool. It's going to be so cool.
Wow, little short curly dude. And
and then if they watch the show, Amazon might be worried that audience is going to be like, what? No hobbits of any kind? Nobody in the Shire being charming, and
Yeah.
giant pumpkins rolling around in wheelbarrows, and
Though I would argue this though. I mean, the real core of the fans, or I mean, the real core of the viewers and the watchers are going to be the fans that are going to be coming back time and time again. You know, because it's you know, it's important to us. You know.
yeah. But one of the big successes of the Peter Jackson formula in his adaptation was the successful way that the culture of the hobbits were introduced. It was very successful, and it won everybody over.
I know.
And
yeah, that's
Professor
another
Tolkien
thing.
did the right thing in having the hobbits be an entry point into the larger story, and especially Samwise. You know,
Yeah.
Sam is the character who is the entry into, he's the everyman. He's the everyman. He is the cipher for the rest of us entering into this adventure and experiencing it through an everyday, regular guy in his position, like being completely in awe of what's going on around him. And I don't know. They have a tight rope walk that they have to do now. And I'm going to tell the audience right now in the chat, this is a difficult tightrope walking act for Amazon Studios to decide whether to alienate mass audience that knows suddenly they're playing fast and loose with the rules and chronology of the world, or whether, you know, just for the sake of making it more appealing to a mass audience. But then on the other hand, Amazon might put into their matrix in their equation, they might say, we want more of that mass audience to come and be comfortable and say, oh, what was it that you liked so much about those 6 Middle-earth films?
Yeah.
Well, we've got that too. We've got the alchemy. We've got all the same ingredients.
Yeah, we
So
got
why
the
don't you-
Peter Jackson charm. It's
Yeah,
fine.
we've got the Peter Jackson charms. We've got
Yeah.
the Shire. We've got wizards. We've got hobbits. We've got all the good stuff. If you want some of that, come and watch our show.
Yeah.
So they're in that position too. It's a tightrope act, don't you think?
Yeah, that's definitely a hard one.
Yeah.
Kind of
Yeah.
stuck between a rock and a hard place there.
In the chat, Leonardo says, for me, the only way to include hobbits there would be Bilbo in Rivendell, since he was the one gathering knowledge in Imladris, showing him at the prologue, learning from past ages would fit.
That would be a good idea. I think
It's a
that would
great
segue really well.
Yeah.
How about
Yeah, I
that?
think that would
A
be
framing
good.
device,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
love that.
think that would be really good.
Okay, you could, yeah, you know what? There have been a couple of variations of that idea. One of them would be Samwise, older version of Sean Astin, coming in and telling stories, reading stories from the Red Book. And also, Leonardo's idea is excellent, that we could have Bilbo, older Bilbo, doing his research in the Elven libraries and getting schooled from, you know, someone, Elrond himself, saying, I was there. And telling great stories of what happened thousands of years ago, you know?
Yeah.
That could be excellent framing device. That
I
could be
think
cool.
it's a really good idea. The only thing that I could see possibly not working with it is the passing of Ian Holm.
Oh,
know?
yeah. Who would be the older Bilbo
Yeah,
then?
that would
who
be the
play our
only
older
thing.
Bilbo?
Because Ian
Maybe
Holm,
maybe
you know,
an
God
older
bless
Martin
him, but
Freeman.
that would be interesting. I mean,
Martin Freeman
he
in
showed
age
him from like
makeup.
the back, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if you show him from the back, perhaps, but like, I mean, it's a wonderful idea. It's just I don't.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm speaking for myself. I don't think, you know, having like a CGI Ian Holm would be very comforting to, you know.
No, not like that CGI Grand Moff Tarkin.
No, or CGI Carrie Fisher.
Okay, all right, we'll
Yeah.
stop there.
Yeah.
But all right, here, the show cannot continue tonight too much longer. We're getting really near the end of our broadcast, ladies and gentlemen who are with us. if Andrew, who's in the live chat, says that hobbits were just small people dwelling east of the Misty Mountains at the Second Age. That is true. Maybe not even in the Vales of Anduin yet. And yeah, that there could be, if they really want to stretch the flexibility of the timeline, they could just have the writers say that early strains of hobbits, some of them were wandering over the Misty Mountains and just starting to settle into the lands of the Shire, like some of the earliest ones. But there is no established the Shire. It doesn't exist in the Second Age. So that would be a big sign. I would say no established familiar place like the Hobbit holes in the Shire, nothing like that. But maybe they could have the earliest, like, settlers settling the Shire. Pioneers. It could be like, wow, we're like, it's like Far and Away with Nicole Kidman and Tom Cruise. It's a Ron Howard film, and they're settling the Great West of Middle Earth, and here come the Hobbit settlers, and they're staking their claim and settling their farms. I don't know, whatever. I don't know what they're gonna do. But,
it's okay. Me neither, Cliff.
We really don't know yet. What is it that you are worried about? Is there anything you're really, really worried about?
I know that they are like paying attention to the fans, but I would really like for them to I'm trying to think how to say it, not like cater to us, but I just want the same amount of care and attention that like Jackson and Weta had put into Lord of the Rings, because like you can tell that there is time and dedication thrown into like every single set design, costume, prosthetic, everything. And I've talked to people who've worked on like rings, and it's like you can tell even just watching the movies. And I just really hope that carries over into the Amazon series, and that they include the fans in events, or you know what I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's my biggest worry about it. I'm just worried that it will turn into another Game of Thrones, or that it might, just be like, yeah, okay, here's your series, buy our like $50 action figure.
You're right. If they don't really, really care, I mean, we know about how Peter Jackson deeply, deeply cared about what he was making.
Yeah.
And if they don't show that same, attention and thoughtful attention to what they're constructing, then we're going to get a sense of that pretty early on. There's that kind of inauthenticity behind the work. If there's a greater sense of wanting to do it right and do it right the first time, then we'll pick up on that very early on.
Oh yeah.
I guess that's what we're here for. We're the ultimate barometer. We, the fans, are the ultimate barometer of this. And I think that's why they rely on us here to have these conversations. That is why they rely on us to open up the forum with all the fans around the world, and we'll look at what, there's a lot of agreement with you, Hannah, here in the chat today. Indeed, and from me as well. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, but I'm also maybe not as weirdly pessimistic as I used to be.
Yeah, likewise.
Yeah, I'm encouraged by some of the things I've been hearing. Now that they've acquired MGM's rights, it gives them access to even more material that was part of a much, much older IP governance than a previous contract. So there's going to be a lot less difficulty with all this Amazon money being thrown around, a lot less difficulty for them to produce anything that they want from the world of Arda, from the entire secondary world, because I get a weird feeling that they can get their hands on any books or any posthumous publications that they want, but they haven't announced it yet. The only thing that makes me nervous is their ongoing silence. I wish that they would talk more with us
Yeah.
as a fandom. Yeah. And
oh yeah. Yeah.
I think perhaps I'm going to leave the show and close out our evening and kind of leave it at that. If you're out there listening, Amazon Studios, it would be great if you came on our show and talked with us. So I'd like to interview, the showrunners and the directors and even Jennifer, Salki, any of the people who are working in marketing or even at corporate. Hey, let's have a talk, because the ongoing silence is making us all very restless and impatient.
We got the jitters.
Yeah.
Jitters, Amazon, please. we're all rooting for you on this one. We just wanna be involved.
Yeah, we wanna know what's going on. We want to know what parts of the books you've licensed, and we want to know what all the casting announcements are, and we want to know what time frame in the chronology of the great world of Arda where we're going. We all want to know all these fun details.
Hey, I want to know if you guys got the rights to Roverodon. I'm still waiting on that. That's
Roverandon?
Yeah, Roverandon.
I would love that. That would be a charming animated feature. That would be great.
That would be fun.
Well, it's now time to say good night, everybody. So thank you again to the worldwide audience. That's a lot of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That is a lot of you. Well, I know there's a lot of you folks out there, and we here at The One Ring say thank you again for being with us. Thank you for being an extraordinary, faithful audience, joining us again on a Torn Tuesday, lovely afternoon. Tristan and Hannah, it is so nice to see you folks together.
It's very nice to see you too.
Yeah, it's nice to see you again.
I'm going to break the secret. Can I tell the world before we close the show?
Yes. Yeah.
I'm going to be their minister, and I'm going to officiate their wedding. This lovely, lovely couple right here. They've actually blessed me with the chance to be their minister, and I'm going to do their wedding later this year in October. It'll be fantastic. It will be so fantastic. And
it's going to be a very Lord of the Rings wedding.
Oh, yeah.
It'll be awesome. Good night, everyone, and thank you for being with us. Justin, who is still behind the scenes, I say thank you, Justin, for helping us produce the show. Tristan, Hannah, you look like you are glowing with health. You both look wonderful, and so many blessings to both of you. I'm looking forward to this wedding like you wouldn't believe. And to the rest of our fans, I want to say it's great to have you with us next week. Be with us again at 5:00 p.m. on Torn Tuesday. That would be 5:00 Pacific time for more news and information and maybe some Green Dragon gossip at the end of the day. And we'll have some more surprises in store. You can follow me, Clifford Broadway. I'm online at QuickBeam2000 on Instagram and Twitter. And until then, I say good night and good luck, or rather, buenos noches y buena suerte. Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye. Thank you for your love and support, guys.
Cheers.